I am rapidly losing time here, but for once, I'm not worried about it because I'm losing time, and that time I'm losing is going to, I'm gonna wind up at Godzilla. That's what the end game is here. So it's like, on the one hand, yeah, sure, I don't have as much time to cram out these videos to just grind them out like I wish I could have, but I'm seeing Godzilla in a few hours. Like, that's all I need. What's up, everybody? Demon back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla King of the Monsters news and updates. A little bit ago, Michael Dougherty did a MonsterPalooza convention, and he did a full, big, huge, it was like a Q&A basically, where he talked a long time about Godzilla. I have the thing linked down below. We'll cover the really important bullet points, which, oh, there's a lot. There's a lot here, so we're going to just go through them. This video is really where you're going to see the lack of editing. It's mostly going to be still images. It's kind of going to be a podcast episode. Just kind of listen to this one. You don't have to watch it. There's not going to be too much on-screen visuals. All right, so he starts out by joking that Godzilla is not a dinosaur and that calling him one is inappropriate. He said he really enjoys Godzilla vs. Hedorah, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974. He's big on Rodan 1955, and he's big on Mothra 1961. One of the parameters he was given for this movie was that Monarch needed to play a bigger part. And then he was asked if it was okay to adapt Mothra, Rodan, and Ghidorah. So they didn't always have the plan to have those characters be in the movie. They always had the plan to have Monarch be a bigger part and have those three Toho monsters show up in the MonsterVerse eventually, but it sounds like it was Dougherty who pushed them into making them all in Godzilla 2. His reasoning for that we'll cover in a different video. They wanted to bring back the notion that these creatures were viewed as gods before the modern day. Michael Dougherty says he is 100% okay with the lack of screen time Godzilla had in 2014 because he loves the Jaws approach they took with Godzilla, but he says that because Gareth already did it, he wanted to go balls to the wall with this one. So there's way more monsters in this movie than there were before. Michael Dougherty then confirms that Aliens is his favorite movie of all time, which explains why he refers to King of the Monsters as the Aliens to Godzilla's Alien so much. He said the majority of this movie takes place 5 years after 2014. Humanity will be struggling with how to survive in a post-Godzilla world. The main human debate in the movie will be regarding if every Titan should be exterminated, seeked out, and destroyed, or if they should be studied for potential coexistence. Serizawa firmly believes that these creatures are vital to our ecosystem, and he believes that Godzilla is somehow the key to coexistence. Serizawa looks at it and goes, well, if we had killed Godzilla in 1954, which we tried, the Mutos would have exterminated humanity. We would have been extinct. So Serizawa sees the great benefit of having the Titans around. The character arc in this movie revolves around the Russells. They will all have one combined story. The Russells have survived the 2014 attack, but their lives have since fallen apart. Michael Dougherty had the message to those who think they have seen too much footage, which was avoid trailer 3, avoid the 5-minute footage, don't watch any more TV spots for the movies because there are spoilers from here on out in them. And he was certainly right. There certainly were, and it's a good thing I avoided all that stuff. Michael Dougherty jokes that they only use practical effects for this movie. He says that they could have gone old school man in suit style, but he doesn't think modern audiences would respond to it very well, so they went with CGI, of course. Michael Dougherty loves his Monster DJ stuff, and by that I don't mean the orc, I don't mean Emma Russell's Monster DJ stuff, I mean his Monster DJ box that I guess he had, which he admitted roars of the monsters during shooting from, and he talks about that thing all the time. He says if we all support Godzilla 2, non-monster fans included, Trick or Treat 2 will happen, which is funny. He says Legendary will give him another shot if this movie's successful. Michael Dougherty says he had nothing to do with the trailer music, but he loves the choices. Michael Dougherty said Ifukube's score guided the entire soundtrack, and when you listen to it, you can certainly hear that. He then gives credit to Toho for being the best original cinematic universe. Heck yeah. And then he said he really likes the idea of the MonsterVerse, so he has Kong breadcrumbs in the movie, and he just loves the idea of returning Godzilla to a cinematic universe. He says the MonsterVerse also isn't just confined to Godzilla and Kong. There are other monsters in this universe that could theoretically get their own movies. Thinking like Mothra, some of the other Titans who are going to pop up in King of the Monsters, maybe like a Rodan solo movie would be cool. He said that if this movie blows up, there is the potential that he'll direct another Godzilla movie in the future. The direct quote is, creatively, I think there is a desire to continue the MonsterVerse as long as we possibly can. But honestly, it depends on the fans like you, sort of preaching the word of Godzilla to non-believers out there. Spread the word. Be like me, fellas. I'm taking like 15, 16 people to Godzilla King of the Monsters. Like 11 of them are not Godzilla fans at all. Most of them don't even like really know about the franchise, so I'm gonna have to get them all caught up to speed on 2014 here tomorrow, and then we're gonna go see the movie tomorrow night. So I'm already doing my best here. You gotta pull your weight, fellas. I like the idea that God good, Ghidorah bad. He's saying that they went very biblical with this movie. He grew up in Catholic school, so he knows a lot about the Bible and about all that stuff, so he wanted to infuse that in Godzilla in a way that has never been done before. I think that's hilarious. I just like the quote, God good, Ghidorah bad. When talking about Mothra, he says they didn't just want to blow up a moth. He says that the Toho design is of the time. He wanted to modernize it. He didn't really want to just take the Toho design and do it in the modern day because he doesn't think it'd work well. So he raised a few praying mantises for inspiration, and you can clearly see that he worked that inspiration into Mothra's design. He says wasps also influenced Mothra's design, and he wanted this to be the first Mothra that can go physically toe-to-toe with other monsters in a fight. Toho was apparently very involved in this film. They had lots of input on it, and they approved every decision made for it. Then they got the question, who is scarier, Godzilla or Charles Dance? Michael Dougherty says, in this movie, it's Charles Dance. He's a mysterious character with conflicting ideas about the roles of humanity and the kaiju. He says that humans have crossed the line and that he wants to set it back so that the monsters can have this world again. Michael Dougherty outright denies the idea that Burning Godzilla will be in this movie, and then he continues it up by saying that the Oxygen Destroyer will be in the movie and will be very important. That'll be interesting to see if he was lying here in a few hours, I guess. We'll see how big of a role the Oxygen Destroyer plays, and we'll see what goes on with Godzilla in the movie. But it was interesting that someone outright asked him if Burning Godzilla was in the movie, and he just said no. He said Burning Godzilla is not in the movie. He said he would love to do a Biollante cameo in a Godzilla movie, and also wanted to do a Gigan cameo, but couldn't for this movie. He says that there is no Mechagodzilla in Godzilla 2. In the future, he said that they might introduce him, and we do know Legendary, at least at one point, had the rights to Mechagodzilla. Is it Legendary or Warner Brothers? I always forget who did Ready Player One. I think it's Legendary. He said that if he could remake any Toho kaiju movie, he would go with War of the Gargantuas. He loves that movie. Hell yeah, that movie's awesome. We'll actually talk a little bit more about that in the next Godzilla King of the Monsters news and updates, because I asked him about that as well. He said Toho has very strict guidelines for Ghidorah that were much stricter than any other monster for the movie. Michael Dougherty tried to make him the most realistic dragon as he possibly could, and according to Dougherty, Ghidorah's motion capture was done in a 2-day shoot. So holy cow, our poor boys Alan Max and Jason Lyles and Richard Dorton, they had to do that all in 2 days. Michael Dougherty said he loves the OG Ghidorah and wanted to give a trail very reminiscent to the original. I don't think it wound up being reminiscent to the original after hearing the new one on the Monarch website. It just sounds completely different. Dougherty says he really likes Shin Godzilla and especially appreciates how weird that movie is. It certainly is weird. He said he was huge on the political satire and loved it. He also loved how weird and different it was from the rest of the franchise and sees it as breathing new air into the franchise. Michael Dougherty talks about his Fanzilla moment, that's what he calls it. He said in early August 2017, they were filming in the Fathom facility, which is the underwater facility. He said that there was a memorial on the wall. It's supposed to be a memorial in context of the movie. It's like a tribute to all the fallen Monarch agents and soldiers. There's names of all of them on the walls. He said it's filled with characters and crew members from Godzilla history, and that the name that stuck out to him on that particular day was Haruo Nakajima, whose name was on the wall. And that same day, Nakajima passed away. So they had this big tribute for Nakajima, and his name was on the Fallen Monarch wall. He said it was this really chilling moment when he found that out, and it was like Nakajima was there in spirit. So they put up this big Godzilla thing on the wall, and they did this quiet memorial for him. The original Godzilla roar from Toho will return in this movie. However, it's unspecified on if that will be the 54 roar, which I think it will, or the standard Showa Heisei roar. We don't know. I think that it's going to be a reworked version of the 2014 roar to sound much more in line with the 54 version. His favorite Heisei film is he couldn't decide. He couldn't decide between Biollante and Destroya. Very good choices in my opinion. Those are my two favorites as well. He said he's very excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. He hasn't been on set for the film, but he did work on rewrites for it. He also could not say if the Mothra fairies will return or not, but he says it's a strong maybe. And at this point, yeah, they're going to be in it. Almost everyone has talked about it, right? I mean, Dougherty has talked about it countless times. Then we got that concept art guy who was talking about how they're in the movie, so they're going to be in the movie at some point or another. He said that more kaiju have not been revealed revealed but will be seen in the movie, and by that he means that the kaiju in the trailers that are not the 4 Toho boys, there are more of them in the movie that we just haven't seen clips of. So like the mountain titan and the spider guy in the desert, those aren't the only guys that are going to be new to this movie. They are not Toho monsters though. They are brand new originals to the MonsterVerse. He also says that he did not take any direct inspiration for the Heisei Gamera trilogy, but he acknowledges that there are some similarities between his Godzilla and that Gamera. He said he loves the idea that Rodan can survive in a volcano and wanted to treat Rodan as something of a phoenix. He said Rodan's entrance from the volcano is the idea of resurrection, as it takes place where he previously died, and Michael Dougherty said he likes to think that this Rodan is the child of the 2 originals. However, that is not canon for the MonsterVerse, so don't pretend it is. Toho apparently did not reject a single one of Dougherty's ideas. They were supportive of all of them, which is good to hear. Talking about the biggest challenge for this film, Dougherty said that no one ever prepares you for how emotional making a film like this is. Not just because it's so big, but no one ever prepares you because it's something so emotional for him. He said he didn't do Godzilla for a paycheck. He did it because it's Godzilla and that's his childhood, and he has this huge connection to Godzilla. So he said he was not prepared for how emotional of an experience it would be. He said there are lots of ups and downs and that he was not prepared for it, but at the end of the day, it seems like he is really proud of what he did and he's still a huge Godzilla fan. All right, and that is going to be this one-off where we only talk about the MonsterPalooza stuff. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. D-Man out.